Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I know we've been trying to do a bunch of dental hygiene, like school type videos, but this week we're going to take a little bit of a break from that. I have an interview with a brand new graduate that I'm trying to set up for later this week that will air next week. And we're going to go over her experience in dental hygiene school, what classes to expect, that kind of stuff. A lot of the questions you guys have been asking, we're going to try and get those answered next week. So I'm just waiting to hear back from her if she can do it. For this week, I wanted to kind of go back and talk about an older video that I did a few months ago on 10 reasons not to be a dental hygienist. I've had way more views on that than I ever expected, and a lot of really good comments too. So I thought we'd go over some of those. I was gonna actually add in more things that you need to keep in mind when looking at dental hygiene. And please understand, I love this career, so I am in no way bashing it. What I want is for you guys to understand, if you're looking at this job, all of the drawbacks to it, but at the same time, please consider dental hygiene. It is really a fantastic job. I do love it. I'm very passionate about it. So if this is something you're curious about, I know there's not a lot of videos out there about like the drawbacks to it, so that's why I'm doing another one. But at the same time, it really is a fantastic career. So please don't misunderstand where I'm going with these. So this is 7 more reasons not to be a dental hygienist. Number 1, self-employment. Dental hygiene does not allow for a hygienist to be self-employed, except in the state of Colorado. The reason I moved out of California and came home to Colorado was because my overall dream was to run my own office someday. Getting back here and taking a look at everything, including the overhead, the fact that you're not allowed to diagnose, and the fact that I would need to send my patients off to a dentist or hire a dentist to come in to work in my office was more than I really wanted to deal with, so that was disappointing. But there's really there are hygienists here in Colorado that are doing it, and huge thumbs up to them. I actually would like to go in and shadow and kind of talk to them at some point for my own benefit, because I did consider doing that at one point, but you know, maybe I'll do a video for you guys on that in future, like way down the road. But I think that's interesting. But yeah, with the overhead and everything, it wasn't for me, but Colorado is the only state that allows a hygienist to have her own office. So number 2, which I kind of mentioned in number 1, is you're not allowed to diagnose. I don't care if there's half a tooth sitting in there and a 4-year-old can tell you that that's a cavity. I am not allowed to say, oh, looks like you have a cavity. I can tell you that, oh, it looks like you might have a cavity, or I'm highly suspicious that you have a cavity, but I can't definitively say you have a cavity, or I am then doing dentistry and I can lose my license. So that's obnoxious, because you have a lot of patients say, well, you know, what do you think? Or, hey, this hurts really bad, or I've got this cavity here, and you're kind of humming and hawing, and you go, well, let's let the doctor look at it and see what he or she thinks. And that's kind of obnoxious, because we're smart too, and you've been at it a while, you get trained for it in school, and then you have your experience, and you can look at stuff and you go, okay, this is gonna need a root canal. The doctor comes in and they go, yeah, this is gonna need a root canal, and in your head you're going, called it, but you can't actually say anything to the patient. So that to me is frustrating, that you can't give them kind of a heads up. I mean, you can, because you could say, well, I'm highly suspicious that this has a very large cavity on it, and more than likely we'll need a root canal and a crown, but let's let the doctor come in and take a look at that. That's essentially, you know, what you do all day. So that to me is frustrating, but I guess if I want to do dentistry, go back to dental school and finish my dental career, correct? Yeah. So. Number 3, not standardized. Dental hygiene is not standardized nationwide, and I'm talking US here. I don't know anything about the rest of the world, but here in the United States, different states and sometimes different regions are different as far as what our duties are, as far as how we're allowed to practice. Is there a dentist looking over your shoulder the whole time? There's nothing truly. The only standardized thing is this standardized national test that you take when you graduate. After that, doesn't matter where you go, it's going to be different. Sometimes even office to office. I've been in offices where they want you to do everything, and I've got offices where they want you to do nothing. They got the assistants doing a lot of stuff and you're just there to clean. So it depends. But that kind of bothers me, that unlike the nursing program where nurses know what they're doing state to state, there's really no big changes. Hygiene is different pretty much in every state. Number 4, you're a cash cow. Can you say moo? This one kind of annoys me. I've never truly, have I dealt with this? I mean, yes, I've dealt with this in some of the temping offices, but I would never actually work in one of these offices. However, I have friends that have, and I've heard about these offices where the dentist looks at you and all they see is money. And you are finding them all of their production. They want you to pass product just as fast as you can. They're trying to get you to, I mean, you're making them money, and they don't see you really as a human being. They don't see the patients as human beings. It's all about the moolah. And that's very discouraging. I don't see it, obviously, where I work, but I have run into it. So that is something, and it was something we were warned about in hygiene school as well, that, hey, you're considered a cash cow and get used to it, but fight against it. So that's kind of what we've been doing. Number 5, someone brought this up in the comments section, and this is actually really, really true, and I didn't think about it because it's actually never happened to me, but that's needle sticks. And when we say needle sticks, it's not necessarily the needles from like the anesthetic, it can also be your really sharp instruments that you're using. You get poked with an instrument through your glove that was just in a patient's mouth, you've got really big problems. Now we're worried about AIDS, hepatitis, you know, all these bloodborne diseases, and a lot of the times the patients won't put that stuff on their health histories. And so then you're having to go to this patient and go, hey, I just stuck myself with one of the instruments that was in your mouth recently. Is there anything you need to tell me about your health? You know, are you healthy? Or is there something maybe you didn't put on your health history? And it's an awkward conversation. And sometimes people just won't tell you. And then you have a big decision to make. Are you going to go and take a huge round of antibiotics to hopefully kill off anything that you may have contracted? Or are you going to kind of risk it and hope for the best? There's all the legal stuff with getting, you know, hurt in the workplace. So needle sticks is a big issue with dental hygiene. I've had some really close calls where my gloves have gotten ripped, or I got stuck but it didn't actually go into my skin, or I did get stuck once where it went through, but it was a clean needle. Yay! So no big deal. But yeah, it's definitely a concern that, you know, you're working, of course, with a lot of people. You're working with mouths, you're working with blood, and something to keep in mind is all those bloodborne diseases. Number 6, it's boring. All right, so dental hygiene is highly repetitive. It is. And somebody brought this up as well. And I liked the comment because for me, even in 12 years, I've never really found it boring. I know a lot of people do. For me, I'm really good at keeping myself entertained, I guess. So to me, it's more about the patient sitting in the chair, what's going on with them. Like, while I'm paying very close attention to what I'm doing with my hands, of course, I'm not here for that. I mean, it's super fun to see calculus and stuff fly off people's teeth, but to me, it's more about the patient and their experiences in the last 6 months. How have they been? You know, working on your relationship with them. So yes, but your tasks are super repetitive, which is why we get carpal tunnel and stuff, because we're doing literally the same thing for many hours a day. So another thing to keep in mind. And number 7, dental hygiene is governed by the dental board. We do not have our own board. Nurses have a nursing board, which kind of governs them and their skills and their abilities and what they do and what they can't do and their laws and blah, blah, blah. We don't. Dental hygienists are under the dental umbrella, and dentists get to decide what our duties are, what our laws are, what our skills are, what we can and can't do in the office. And there's a lot of feeling in the dental hygiene community that they're essentially keeping us down and we're not allowed to really grow our abilities and our careers and expand our duties the way we'd like to, because we're obviously capable of a lot more. But I've personally never really gotten into that portion of hygiene. I've got some friends that are super passionate about it, and they are on some of the boards and the National Dental Hygiene Associations and stuff. I personally have never really been into that kind of politics, so I let them take care of it, and when I need to vote, I vote, and otherwise I just kind of keep my mouth shut and keep my head down and do my thing, because that's what I like to do. But if you're interested in, you know, helping to change dental hygiene to be a better career, and, you know, more, please, more power to you, let's do it. I think hygienists are, you know, we should be doing way more education as far as nutritional and we just don't have a lot of time, and I don't know, I think it could be better. So, you know, get in here and help us out. We'd appreciate it. Okay, so that was 7 more reasons not to be a dental hygienist. I guess I'm gonna have to do one now about 7 more reasons to be a dental hygienist. And I could just sum those up right now, actually. It's the relationships with your patients. Like, that is the coolest thing ever. When they come in and they go, hey, 6 months ago, you were gonna do this thing, and or they remember like your nephew's names or your dog's name, or, you know, and it's not just you remembering them, it's reciprocal, and you're becoming friends. I can totally see why people become hairdressers, because they develop the same kind of relationships we do. Same thing with like massage therapists and stuff. It's that people connection that makes it so worth it. So I hope you don't think that I'm like bashing hygiene. Again, I said that at the beginning, like, hygiene is a great career. You make good money, you get to meet a lot of neat people. I've worked on everybody from Secret Service agents to, you know, the little grandma down the road that can't remember her name every 5 minutes. And, you know, just learning how to care for those people is such an adventure. I had a guy today that was in a wheelchair, and he wasn't able to transfer into my dental chair. So we actually flipped the room around, and I ended up standing up for the whole cleaning, and we made it work. And he was super thankful to have his teeth cleaned, and I hadn't seen him in like 8 or 9 months. I think it's been almost a year since I've seen him. So it was really cool just to catch up and see how he was doing, and that makes it worth it. So if you're thinking about dental hygiene, I really hope that this will not dissuade you, but, you know, be eye-opening as far as what to expect. But overall, it really is a good career. So have a great week. Please like and subscribe. Comment below. I love to see your comments. It's always interesting to see who says what and why, and, you know, I love seeing that conversation happening. So please keep doing that. Find me on Instagram, Life Beyond the Floss, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great week.